There's hope and despair from Bangladesh as the country struggles to cope with the aftermath of Cyclone Sidr. Desperately needed food, water and medical supplies are starting to get through to the outlying areas, but millions remain without food or shelter and the death toll is still rising. Officials say it has now passed 1,700 and they fear thousands more bodies will be recovered as relief workers reach the worst hit areas in the coming days. Al Jazeera's Owen Fay travelled to the region of Barisal, where people are trying to piece together what remains of their lives.
This village is incredibly remote. To get here from the capital Dhaka, you'd have to drive in a car for 5 hours, take a 2-hour ferry, and then travel by speedboat for another 4. And as soon as we arrived here, the scenes of devastation were everywhere. Their entire rice crop for the year has been destroyed. We could hear the sounds of women wailing as we walked in. Men described scenes of the cyclone itself, how the water levels rose to their throats, washing children away. Another man said he's just discovered the body of his young son in a rice paddy. These people have no food, they have no fresh water, they have no sanitation, they have no electricity. And this is a scene here that's being repeated in hundreds, if not thousands of villages across the southern part of this country. Owen Fay, Harinpala, Bangladesh.
This is what a Category 4 cyclone does to an average house in Bangladesh. The rice harvest is also ruined. These farmers are among the poorest people in the world, and now many have lost everything. Among them, Shamima Fakir. Her humble home of 17 years is destroyed. She says she was terrified when the cyclone hit and thought she would die. Somehow, she managed to scramble out with her 4 children. The whole family is now homeless.
What's made Cyclone Sidr so destructive is that many of the houses are made of very flimsy materials. This one's just made of bamboo and wood, and at best they're made of corrugated iron. None of them stood a chance.
This remote part of southern Bangladesh is crisscrossed by a huge river delta. The shores now littered with the debris of a violent storm surge, which left many villages in ruins. And you can see just how vulnerable this land is to flooding. For many people, there was nowhere to run. The road into the worst hit area is littered with huge fallen trees. Clearing them could take weeks. These people lack chainsaws or machinery, so much of the work is being done by hand. Or by trunk. Although these elephants are experts in this type of work, they are woefully inadequate for the scale of the task ahead. Repairs to the downed electricity lines are also low-tech. There's talk of the US Marines coming to help. These people desperately hope that talk turns into action. Dan Rivers, CNN, Barisal, southern Bangladesh.
The survivors are beginning to rebuild their homes and their lives. The high-speed winds and tidal surge crashed through villages and fields.
The storm with the tidal surge came and I was neck deep in water. It hit my home, destroyed everything and killed my cattle.
It was harvest time, but this crop, food for months, has been lost. Cyclone Sidr was the strongest storm for years, and a vast swathe of Bangladesh's remote coastline was hit. No one knows how many people were killed. The toll keeps steadily rising from the hundreds and now into the thousands. And this impoverished region can barely afford the enormous damage as yet uncounted to the local economy of the countless shops and businesses like this one, simply blown away. Aid agencies and the Bangladeshi authorities are trying their best, but reaching everyone has so far proved impossible. It's a logistical nightmare and the needs are huge. Mark Dummett, BBC News, Barisal, Bangladesh.